The fight had been brutal. Batman's batarangs sparked off the chamber walls. Owlman's fist found its mark against Batman's jaw. They crashed through equipment, trading blows that would have shattered normal men. The bomb sat at the center of it all, Earth Prime's death sentence and the multiverse's doom, waiting for the final sequence. Owlman was winning. His movements were more vicious, more precise. Batman fought to preserve. Owlman fought to destroy. And destruction, Batman had learned, always had the advantage. A devastating uppercut sent Batman staggering. Owlman pressed his advantage, driving him back with a flurry of strikes. Batman's defense crumbled, his ribs cracked or broken. Then, Batman stopped fighting. Just stopped. He lowered his hands and stood there breathing hard as Owlman raised his fist for the finishing blow. Finally! Owlman's voice carried a cold satisfaction. He lowered his arm, studying Batman with triumph. Finally! You see it now, don't you? The futility. All your fighting, all your hope. Meaningless. Every punch you threw, every life you saved, every night you spent bleeding in the shadows. For what? He turned toward the bomb console, savoring the moment. Even the great Batman breaks eventually. Even you can see the truth, that none of this matters, that I am right. His fingers moved across the controls with practiced precision. The device hummed to life, casting red shadows across his mask. Infinite worlds, infinite suffering. This is mercy, Batman. This is the only answer that makes sense. The hum of the bomb filled the chamber now, a low, constant throb pulsing behind them, as if existence itself was holding its breath. Owlman stood in the glow of Earth Prime's death sentence, calm, certain, or pretending to be. Everything we do is meaningless, he said, not turning around. Justice, morality, love, it's all a distraction from the truth, that none of it matters. Infinite worlds, infinite choices. Batman moved, but not to attack. He reached into his utility belt, pulled out a small black pistol, and held it loosely in his hand. Owlman spun around, his eyes widening behind the mask. For the first time, genuine shock cracked his composed facade. You don't use guns. His voice was barely a whisper. The great constant of their world, Batman's one unbreakable rule, had just shattered before his eyes. What is this? An answer, Batman said quietly. Not for me, for you. He took a step forward. Owlman's shoulders tensed almost imperceptibly. You call yourself a nihilist, say nothing matters. But you built a bomb. You gave a speech. You came all the way to Earth Prime to make your pain loud. Another step closer. That's not nihilism. That's ego. He offered the gun, not threateningly, but plainly. A real nihilist wouldn't bother with any of this. They wouldn't need the whole universe to burn. They wouldn't need to prove they were right. They'd just leave. Owlman said nothing. His mask betrayed no emotion, but his silence screamed. His right hand, which had been steady on the console, began to tremble slightly. You say humanity is a cancer, Batman continued, his voice almost gentle now. Then start with yourself. If you really believe what you say, pull the trigger. End it. End yourself. Simple. Still, Owlman didn't move. But Batman could see it now. The way his breathing had changed, the slight turn of his head toward the weapon. But you won't, Batman said, stepping closer still. Because this was never about the truth or philosophy. It was about control, about pain, about being seen. You say nothing matters, but the truth is, you want to matter more than anything. Owlman's voice cracked when he finally spoke. You don't understand what I've lost, what I've seen. I understand perfectly, Batman replied. You're not a nihilist. You're a child, angry, hurt, and when the game didn't go your way, you tried to flip the board. Batman walked to the console, where the countdown flickered red numbers. He looked at the timer, then turned back to Owlman. The difference between us isn't that you see some truth I'm blind to. It's that when I lost everything, I chose to build. When you lost everything, you chose to burn. Batman placed the gun down beside the bomb controls. No threat, no ultimatum, just a choice. Then, with one last look at Owlman, a quiet, cutting stare that seemed to see straight through his philosophical armor to the wounded person beneath, he turned toward the exit. "Coward," he said, but there was no venom in it, just sadness. Batman paused at the threshold and gave his counterpart a calm look. "But end the cancer, and the pain starts and ends with you." He didn't look back. The sound of his footsteps faded. The bomb display blinked its countdown. The gun sat quietly on the metal console, offering him a choice that mattered if he was honest enough to admit it. And Owlman stood alone, with the only honest choice in his life. In the reflection of the table, he could see everything: the bomb that was supposed to be his grand answer, the gun that exposed his hypocrisy, and himself, small and insignificant and desperately wanting to matter in a universe he knew didn't care. The timer continued its countdown. The choice was his.